Hello everyone, my name is Anna. Anna, welcome back Health Fitness 1047. I wish you a nice day. Here is main news. Let's see then.
The film has a strong post-apocalyptic color, where chaos, loss, psychological breakdown and faith are intertwined to the point where it is impossible to distinguish clearly the boundaries between life and death, the healthy and the infected. People in the darkness in the soul, a group of characters, Kelson, Jamie, Jenny, are facing a cruel reality. Corpses are everywhere, both infected and normal. Jenny worries that a child in the group is too young to survive in this environment, but is still forced to step out into the mainland, the central land, where there is no more salvation. The sound of counting numbers, screaming, begging to keep oneself from going crazy, mixed with the sound of marching, the religious cry from a priest, declaring this is Judgment Day. In that context, a haunting phrase is repeated, moving up and down again, as if a refrain of meaninglessness, of humans being turned into tools in an endless war. The wind howled. Distant screams and footsteps trampling on empty corpses. Have you ever imagined walking through a land where there was no life? Where every step was a corpse. Where you could no longer tell who the enemy was, because everyone had turned into monsters, both the infected and the humans. Kelson had been a doctor. Now, he was just a witness. There are so many dead people, he said. The infected, and the uninfected. No one escaped death. Only death comes in many forms. Jamie, a survivor, still whispered as if comforting herself in the midst of hell. That's why our home, our last home, is so sacred. But that place wouldn't be safe for much longer. Jenny was different. She was panicking, not for herself but for a child in the group. He's too young, she whispered. He's not ready. But in response, she received only a cold shake of the head. He's ready. Children don't have time to grow up in peace anymore. The child stood there. On his shoulder was a heavy magazine. In his hand, a notebook with numbers written on it. 7, 6, 11, 5. No one knew what he was counting. Maybe the number of dead bodies. Maybe the number of near-death experiences. Maybe the number of bullets left in the magazine. And then, they stepped onto the mainland, the heartland. A place that had once been a symbol of civilization. Now a place where there was no rescue, no law. Nothing but survival instinct. When we step onto it, Jenny warned, there will be no one to save us. Gunshots. Bones breaking. Screams lost in voice. One of the men began to mumble incessantly. Don't look straight. Don't look at their faces. Count the bullets. Count the clips. Count the steps. Count until you go crazy. Or don't count anymore. A scream rang out, then silence. A body in the group was dragged away. No one dared to look back. Kelson, still conscious, muttered a twisted prayer. There are many deaths, and some deaths are better than others. But even the better death is never something you choose. And then, in a cruel twist of fate, a group of men emerged from the rubble, dressed in black robes. Holding religious symbols, they gathered under a collapsed dome in the ruins of the church. One man, apparently a priest, stood up, his hand raised. Today is Judgment Day. Glory. My children, no one is retired from war. No one is discharged from God. The children cried. The adults knelt, not to pray, but to load their guns. Religion was no longer a refuge. It was a machine that radicalized war, legitimized death, turned destruction into ritual. And when night fell, the group huddled around the flickering fire. No one slept. The child kept counting. 1, 2, 3. Maybe the number of times his heart beat. Maybe the last count before silence forever. Because as Kelson said, there is no discharge from war. In this world, war is forever. Even when there is nothing left to fight for. even when people have turned to ashes. War continues. Do you think you are strong enough to survive? Do you think you'll be the one shooting or being shot? Remember, it's not the strongest who survives. It's the one who can withstand the craziest.